Welcome to the Cooper and Taylor struggle to come up with a name for their podcast show. I'm your host, Cooper Vice.
And I'm your co-host, Taylor Vincent. Excited to be here and ready to do another episode. Still sorry about not having a name, but we'll figure it out.
I've always said this. I've always said that when working on a project, the name is the least important part of it.
You've always said that.
I've always said that.
And I've always thought it should be organic, too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to force out a name. I want it to just kind of... Because we could force out, 15 suggestions.
I think I already have, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there are tons of things we could call it, but I want it to feel right. So, hopefully, in these first 5 episodes, we'll figure something out. And, you guys will be the first people to know once that happens, because you'll literally hear it happen. Great. So, week 2, here we go. We had a wonderful reaction to our first episode. We've already got tons of sponsors.
Yeah, definitely. One of them being Pine-Sol.
Pine-Sol.
We've been sponsored by Pine-Sol. Me and Cooper have a history with Pine-Sol.
Yeah, we've got what I would call a working relationship with Pine-Sol and the Pine-Sol family of brands. They really like the work we do, and they were excited to help us out financially with our latest venture. So, I guess Pine-Sol, that's the power of Pine-Sol.
We love it. Can't get enough of that power of Pine-Sol cleaning product.
Thank you for the clean you bring, Pine-Sol. Now that we got that out of the way, I thought I would read some reviews of our first episode.
Oh, hit me with your best shot.
Well, the listeners surely have hit us with theirs, so I'm just going to read you
Fire away.
A couple of choice reviews. First off, anonymous. These are all anonymous because
the dang culture we're in.
Because people who leave reviews on podcasts are all cowards.
Right. Just shameless little punks.
Yeah, just spineless weasels. This first review is a good one.
Oh, good.
And it says,
I like good reviews.
Wow, boys. Really loved the perfect amount of Hitler references in this episode. Not too much. Not too little, just the perfect amount. Thank you for that, and thank you for giving him the proper respect he deserves and calling him Mr. Hitler.
I couldn't agree more.
Couldn't agree more.
I feel like a part of that not too much, not too little also goes with his stash,
Definitely.
I feel like, he gets a lot of flack, people trying to wear that type of mustache.
Like Shaq. Do you remember when Shaq was in he was like in an underwear commercial, I think, and he had like I'll look it up so that you can see it because it's very funny, but Shaquille O'Neal, I think, was in like a Hanes commercial or something, and he just kind of straight up had a Hitler stash, and people kind of made a fuss about it. Yeah, he's like sitting on an airplane.
Oh, that's marvelous.
Yeah, pretty Hitlery, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Mr. Hitler.
If there's a way to link images in SoundCloud descriptions, we should try to link an image that everybody can.
We will definitely do our best.
And if not, just look up Shaq Hitler, because it'll be right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we really nailed the Hitler references right out of the gate, and I think that by talking about how much we talked about Hitler in the first episode, we're reaching our quota for the second episode, so we should probably drop it right now and not bring him up again for the remainder of this episode.
Starting now.
Okay, great. On to the next review. Anonymous says, wow, 2 dudes talking about Disney movies? What's next? A marathon of Andrew Lloyd Webber musicals?
Ooh.
Okay.
There's
we see
sucker punch there.
We see what you're saying.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, Taylor. What you don't know, guy, is that Taylor adores Phantom of the Opera. It's his favorite musical, and he's not ashamed of that, right?
I'm not.
No.
My sister's senior trip in high school, we went. It was her choice, obviously, because her senior trip, and she chose to go to New York, and our grandparents helped. Well, not helped. They bought us tickets to go see Phantom of the Opera, and it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had. and it was a fantastic show.
Exactly, Guy. Taylor
so
loves...
maybe that will be our next thing.
Yeah, maybe it will, because Taylor loves Phantom of the Opera, and I say I like Jesus Christ Superstar even though I've never seen it or heard it, so guess what? We're not ashamed of that. Next up, this guy seems like he really knows a lot about the Baltimore Ravens. Hey, okay.
Wait, is that in reference to you being born in Maryland?
Yeah, I briefly mentioned that, which... I'll be honest with you, Taylor. I think I pulled that mostly out of my ass. I don't really give a shit about the Ravens.
Yeah, I thought it was impressive that you even knew the team, man. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Was it believable?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry I lied to you. I don't give a shit about the Ravens.
That's okay.
But this guy clearly thought I was doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So, thanks, dude.
Yeah, thanks, man. We aim to please with our sports references and where we live.
I can promise you that was only because it was Super Bowl Sunday and we'll never talk about sports again. At least
we can't promise that.
At least on a national level.
Yeah,
because nobody cares about the NFL except for that one day. At least here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah.
That wraps it up for this week's review round. Maybe we'll have some more next week. Maybe not.
Maybe so.
But those were just some choice reviews that I thought were
were
good.
Yeah, and they hit the top 3 things we kind of talked about.
It was almost it was like a bulleted list of the major things we talked about.
Right. I liked that.
Yeah.
Thanks, reviewers.
Yeah, thanks, anonymous reviewers. Maybe try growing a spine next time.
And put your name.
If it's these reviews were technically all positive, even though there was kind of a dark undercurrent to them.
Maybe there is a sarcastic vibe coming from them, but
But if you ever
I tend to see the best in people.
Yeah, and if you ever leave a positive comment, don't be afraid to write your name. We probably know you.
Or a negative. I mean...
Yeah, honestly,
it's not like we're about to, come after you or anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if my old English teacher or something says that she doesn't like the way that I pronounced a certain word or something like that, I want to know it, and I want to know it was her. Exactly.
It can only make this show better.
We will definitely listen to your criticism, and then we'll ignore it. And do what we were going to do anyway.
Yeah, because that's what podcasts are about.
Yeah, we don't...
That's our mission statement.
Our mission...
We can't wait to hear what you have to say about us, and we're going to continue talking about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, because just by proxy of having a podcast, we're better than all of the people who don't have podcasts. Don't you agree?
100%.
Okay, great. Well, yeah, so that's kind of... we can kind of open and close the book on the review segment. Awesome. Taylor, do you have anything that you want to talk about? I've kind of got like a discussion topic to jump into in a little bit, but if there's anything...
Well, mainly, what I really wanted to talk about was what you and I and our roommate Wilson did last night.
Oh, yeah. So, we're recording on Sunday again. And yesterday, February 11th, you, me, and our roommate Wilson, roommate and friend. I think we've known him long enough.
He's roommate first, friend second.
Yeah, I definitely. We took a trip to the movies.
Yeah, and we saw John Wick Chapter 2 and the Lego Batman movie.
Yep, it was a classic double feature.
They were just terrific. Both movies were astoundingly wonderful.
Yeah, you know what the highlight of John Wick Chapter 2 was?
In your opinion?
In my opinion. No, right. Who's to say overall?
I mean, objectively, I would say there were many highlights. But...
Yeah, but for me personally, it's definitely the fight that Keanu Reeves has with the rapper Common, where they're having a fist fight and tumble down 3 flights of stairs.
I didn't know how to feel about that, because the theater started to like rumble with laughter.
Yeah, there were
then
tears.
Like the more stairs, the more laughter there was.
Yeah,
and I didn't know how to feel about it, because I was like, well, this is kind of a serious.
It's a very serious fight. To not spoil anything, like it's a fairly emotional fight. You can tell the actors do a good job of giving you this sort of silent intensity that shows that they are fighting to the death.
And it was kind of confusing to know if the directors meant it as a joke to do 3 flights of stairs.
Pacing wise, yeah, Keanu has like Kamen like up against a wall, and then Kamen like throws Keanu down, and Keanu drags him with him down like some stairs, and they just keep
and then they hit like a little platform.
There's like a landing, and then there's more
they
stairs
fight again, and then they roll down more stairs,
and then it happens a third time, and then after that is another really long fight sequence. Like that fight.
Well, I mean, one could argue that the whole movie's a fight sequence.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a really good long fight sequence.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I would say there's a lot more goriness to this film. The first one was very gory, but this one, there's a lot more seeing of people getting shot in the face.
For those of you who aren't familiar with the property, John Wick is a Keanu Reeves flick about a retired assassin who is called back into work after his wife dies and some Russian gangsters kill his dog and steal his car, and he gets really mad.
Right.
And he kills over 100 people, I think, in the first one.
I wouldn't doubt that.
And then he kills a lot more in the second one.
Yeah, and, you can argue about whether that's a good movie or not. But
sure.
I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. And Lego Batman was also great.
It truly was. I liked it. I haven't seen the Lego movie in a while. I have seen the Lego movie, but I really enjoyed Lego Batman. It was just a really funny, silly, cute take on Batman. Mm-hmm. And, what else do you want?
Yeah.
What more could you want out of a Batman movie than fun, silly, and cute?
Precisely. Lots of great references. The cast was stacked with just a bunch of great comedy people. You can tell that it was a movie kind of made by comedy fans for comedy fans. And as a fan of comedy, I appreciated that.
Exactly. Like you said, the references, I really enjoyed that part. Mm-hmm. Not to spoil any parts of the actual movie, but there's just throughout the movie, there's a bunch of references to Batman-esque things, and it's just really funny if you know those references.
Yeah.
Going back to Adam West even before, even all the Dark Knight trilogy stuff. But it was really good. I liked it.
Nice night at the movies. Great. Well, is that all you've brought to the table? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
That's all I can think of.
Okay,
Mr.
great.
Rice.
Sort of the big thing I wanted to get into was I was thinking about this the other day, and I was wondering your opinion on it. It's a concept that I think everybody, especially around our age, feels. The fear of missing out. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
I am.
Yeah, it's something.
Actually, for the longest time, when they had those commercials with the hashtag FOM.
Oh, FOMO?
Yeah,
was that it?
Yeah.
Wow, I'd forgotten about those commercials completely. But I just wanted to talk, see what your thoughts on that, and really just kind of ask you. It's something that I really like. Oh man, it got to me, especially in high school. High school, it was really bad. I just any sort of friend group I had or anything, like the concept of either because I was busy or because I wasn't invited or anything like that. I hate. It would ruin my night.
Yeah, I think it can truly be detrimental to one's health. Because I'm very much an extrovert and love being social and love interacting with my friends, family, whatever. And whenever I know there's something going on and I'm not a part of it, I definitely feel that missing out ache and wanting to be a part of it. I remember even when I was a little kid, even before we had, phones or whatever, my parents would have, parent parties. There would be my dad's coworkers over or whatever, and I would, technically be in bed, but I would just go sit on the stairs and just go listen and enjoy the party myself. I would be in my pajamas just listening to all the conversations the parents were having. I had no idea what they were talking about, or it didn't even matter. But I liked being a part of it, you know? But like I said, going back to being detrimental to one's health, I think because the fear of missing out has become such a huge part of, I would say, our culture. I think people try so hard to be a part of everything that it deteriorates on you. You don't get any sleep. You don't get to like actually enjoy what you're really doing in the current moment that you're in. You know, I've learned that in college, especially when I need to go to bed. I need sleep.
This is a big part of this that I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, like I need to go to bed. I know I need to go to bed, and yet I stay up because my friends are still up and I want to be a part of whatever.
Yeah, because it's a problem with one of the very few problems with living with your two best friends and having other people who are close to you over all the time is that like having to tear yourself away and say, I need to get some sleep. I've got stuff I need to do early in the morning. It like, you just gotta, what I've had to do is just tell myself, like, there will be so many nights like this, and you'll have so many more opportunities to hang out, but right now, you need to go up there. Don't listen to the fun they're having downstairs or in the other room or whatever, and just catch those Z's.
An example of that just happened recently. We had a game night Friday night, I believe, and I had to wake up, or I was supposed to wake up early Saturday morning, and I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. It was a college Friday night, and I went to bed at 10 p.m. because I had to get up early the next morning, and so I did. I was pretty proud of myself. I told everyone good night, was very tired, and went ahead and went to bed, but I could still hear everyone's laughter and enjoy it. And you know, when you're gone, it almost sounds like the laughter is louder. It sounded like they were having an even better time once I was gone. Because
the second that you're not a part of it, the fun and the laughter immediately becomes a personal attack on you. It is no longer a group of people having fun. It is a group of people doing whatever they can to make you feel not included.
Exactly.
And that is so aggressively not what it is. But that worst part of your brain tells you that that's what's going on.
It's just horrible. And so, as a result of that, I have this like somehow I've acquired some like sleep sound CD, where it has like little melodies to help you go to sleep or whatever. I had that like on full blast on my radio just so I couldn't hear the laughter and stuff. Yeah. And somebody came up to me the next day and was asking me, what were you playing going to sleep? It was so loud. And I was like, oh, sorry. I just didn't want to hear you.
Yeah, I want to tune all... I didn't feel like listening to you watching an episode of Arrested Development, so I put it into my own terms.
Yeah.
I think another big part of all this, and I hate to be the guy who brings this up because social media is brought into literally every conversation ever.
It has to
in
be.
The year 2017, just because it's the new dimension that we're living in.
Yeah.
But social media makes it 100 times worse.
It does.
Because before, these like parties and get-togethers and adventures and situations that otherwise you would never find out about and therefore you wouldn't have any anxiety over, you're seeing it on Instagram and on Snapchat and on Twitter, everywhere, and it's hard to get away from it because it's genuinely just people having a good time and wanting to show that they're having a good time because that's all you can do is let people know that you're happy. But again, just like people making noise, when you're not a part of it, it feels like a direct attack on you.
Yeah, something specifically related to that, the Snapchat. I know I just sounded like an old man now saying
the Snapchat.
The Snapchat, copyright. with the whole like Snapchat story, I feel like that is so.
It's
because once you finally go to bed, then you start scrolling and you go through those stories, the mindless stories that you don't even the friends you haven't seen in probably a year, and then yet you still look at their story and it's just becomes a part of that attack on you, and it's
exactly, because it's you'll go to bed, you're alone for maybe the first time all day. You're finally decompressing from a day that you've possibly spent happy with friends, but then you look on Snapchat and it's Danny, who you were friends with in 5th grade, doing a keg stand, and you just and you're just like, oh, that looks fun. I wish I was with Danny doing a keg stand. We haven't talked since I was 10, but like, wouldn't that be cool? We could talk about our teacher and like the girls we thought were cute back then. But no, and realistically that would never happen, because Danny also has a koi fish tattoo and like smokes clove cigars now. So you don't want to be friends with Danny anymore. But from the loneliness of your bed, you convince yourself that Danny could be your best friend again.
And that's also a harm, I think, due to the social media, is that it, portrays this wonderful time.
Right.
Even if you aren't having a good time. You could be at this party and just putting it on your story to show everyone what a great life you're having, even if, you're not even a part of it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm sure there's, scientists are scientists. I'm sure there's some sort of study out there. Like doing that right before you go to bed has some sort of thing going on with your brain.
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen some stuff that say you shouldn't be on your phone an hour before bedtime and stuff like that, and that's a little too unrealistic. But I certainly. Oh man, we are so holier than thou, because I'm about to mention the fact that neither of us have Snapchat. You dropped it a while back. I dropped it at the beginning of this year, just because I realized how much I kind of hated it.
But I feel like it's not, we're not trying to be holy.
No,
now.
it's
just a genuine, we have a realization that, at least I did, it was doing more harm than good for me. Like, this is supposed to be a fun, harmless app that helps you stay connected or whatever with your friends or friends you haven't seen in a while, and as opposed to texting you to see their face. Like that. Yeah. That was a cool idea, and it still is. But for me personally, it was doing more harm than good, and that's why I got rid of it.
Yeah, we're not being jerks. We're just super woke, and we want to
stop. Don't ever. What is woke?
Woke?
What is woke?
You don't know what woke is?
No, I don't know what woke.
Man.
Dude, I've gotten rid of Snapchat. Who do you think I know what woke is?
Okay, woke is being awoken to something. So
I made that assumption.
Yeah, and so I guess, oh man, this is going to be the subject of one of our reviews for a episode too, because being woke is usually used in today's context to being like aware of like social issues and stuff.
Oh.
And maybe kind of being sort of annoying about it.
Okay.
Well,
I don't feel like I'm being annoying.
No, I don't feel like I'm being annoying.
Okay.
And I don't feel like you're being... Then. Yeah, we're in agreement on this. But, yeah, so I think Snapchat, and I dropped Instagram as well, and that's more of a...
Because they started doing that story thing, too.
Exactly.
I don't think I've looked at that one time.
No. Oh, I've certainly never made one.
I still just scroll through the pictures and do the heart thing.
Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm done with Insta, I'm done with Snapchat, just because, like, it was a bummer. It was a huge bummer, like, dedicating... I wouldn't call myself a power user of either of those applications.
Right, yeah.
But it was still taking up part of my life that I could be using starting a podcast with my friend Taylor and stuff like that. So,
but no, that point exactly. Mm-hmm. That's exactly why I dropped it. Was because I realized I would come home and I would spend the last 30 to 40 minutes of my day looking aimlessly through things I really didn't care about. Not to, like, hurt any of my friends' feelings, but I really didn't care. And I feel like that's a common realization of this age. Is like, people do this, but at the same time, no one truly, has a, I don't know, I don't want to say they don't care, but I just feel like a lot of people, they're not looking at this because they want to really see what's going on in your life. They're looking at this because it's there.
Yeah. And I that's a point I definitely want to make to anybody listening to this that I think you probably share, which is, one, we don't think the stuff you're posting is like unimportant or anything and that it doesn't matter. And two, we're not looking down on you for
doing it.
Wilson is obsessed with Cosmopolitan articles on Snapchat. And we don't look down on him for it. We think it's funny. Because it's the only way I'll ever see it is if he shares it to me. And there's some truly ridiculous stuff that Cosmopolitan posts on their Snapchat profile. And thanks to Wilson, I can see that one bit of Snapchat that I'm interested in. And I can, kind of trim the fat. Because I think that how you use your time is one of the things that you can be selfish about. That you can say, this is, for me, I can decide whether I need to be absorbing this content or not, because there are better ways I could use my time.
Exactly. And there's tons of outlets to do that. And we just don't do that. But,
so I think that anybody struggling with FOMO, with the fear, I don't like that.
No, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt what you were saying.
Anybody struggling with FOMO, I think, from two people who are clearly experts.
Clearly.
Cutting out...
Super woke.
We're woke AF, and we...
woke and yoked. Woked and yoked. For anyone who doesn't know what yoked means, it means super jacked and ripped, and swole, and buff.
And cut. Yeah. Beefy. I've forgotten what my point was.
I'm so sorry.
Anybody... No, I'm back. I got it. Anybody who is having trouble, feeling like they're missing out and that they're not living life to the fullest, social media, reduce usage on that. And realize that... Think about all the good times you've had with your friends and think about how many of those nights you completely remember, and think about all the nights that are just kind of like a warm haze, because most nights are not extraordinary and that doesn't make them not worth it, but just remember that a night spent sleeping is just as valuable as a night playing Super Smash Brothers with your friends. So one thing that I wanted to bring up earlier, Alvin and the Chipmunks.
You fell asleep
to the
Alvin
2007 live-action / animated
squirrel,
film
chipmunk creature,
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Wow, I would say that's impressive, honestly.
Thank you. It's literally a feat. Because everything about Alvin and the Chipmunks is pretty much directly opposed to the concept of sleep and general wellness.
Yeah.
And that's not something I understood.
And that's objective.
Yeah, that's subjective. That's not
opinionated.
That's not opinion. Like, the concept of Alvin and the Chipmunks is, one, completely insane, and two, directly opposed to the idea of sleep. And the fact that I was able to listen to it, one, for just regular general enjoyment, but two, for music, to lay my little head upon a pillow and rest my weary eyes, is nutso to me. It's and
I don't see how you did that.
And so this was the soundtrack to the movie starring what's his name? My Name is Earl, that guy. And then the Chipmunks were voiced by I think it was Justin Timberlake.
Was it?
I think was one of them, and Jesse McCartney was another one. Jesse McCartney was Theodore.
Dude, don't look. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I watched it maybe one time.
I watched it a lot. I really liked that movie, and it came out when I was 10, probably a little too old to like it that much, but I liked it, and I shouted. Oh, here's my first shout out of the whole podcast. Our friend Scotty, because years ago, I brought this album up, and Scotty was like, "Oh, I had that too. I listened to it all the time." And we bonded over our mutual love of this
Chipmunks.
Disgusting, awful piece of music.
Wow.
That
that's true friendship.
Yeah, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna look up the track list to this Alvin and the Chipmunks soundtrack, because it's some pretty insane stuff.
Yeah, I would say that for me, I certainly could not go to sleep to that. I think I have always gone to sleep to music. I don't really know if it was on purpose, on accident. I don't know. I've just always enjoyed music, but I've always had it playing, and so I guess I just kind of keep it going as I go to sleep. I don't specifically remember anything that I really went to sleep to as a kid.
Right.
Now it's just whatever's playing.
Yeah.
But what's that track list?
And so another thing I want to say before I read this is I am really so grateful to my parents for tolerating this, because we played it in the car all the time.
Oh, man.
We took a trip to Mississippi.
You're right. That's a gift.
We took a trip to Mississippi right after it came out on DVD, and we had just gotten a car that had a DVD player in it.
Oh, man.
And we...
did it have the headphones? Or did it just play out loud?
It played out loud, because
man.
I think we lost all the headphones for it.
I don't know how gracious of a parent I would be.
Yeah, and so
drive.
we bought it while we were on the trip for the drive home, and we watched it. Wow. And I can't believe I
think that in and of itself deserves a shout out.
Yeah, so thank you, Julie and Avery, for letting me do that to you.
Yeah,
so,
that's... I can't say if I was a parent I would let that happen.
Yeah, you can take solace in the fact that I can't listen to any of that anymore. It's high-pitched garbage. I might pull it out to make a joke about it, but I'm not listening to this out of enjoyment anymore. Okay, this track list starts out Bad Day by Daniel Powter.
Oh, yes.
They did a cover of it.
Those crazy covering Chipmunks.
Number 2, the Chipmunk song, Christmas Don't Be Late. One of the 3 versions on this soundtrack. There's 3
different versions of that particular
song, yes.
That original by those Chipmunks.
Yeah, that's their what they're known for, yeah.
Right.
Then there is, and that one is this second one is the modern version with the new people singing it, but it's it's just the normal sort of traditional singing. Number 3, Follow Me Now, featuring Jason Gleed. I don't remember much about that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Same with How We Roll. I remember it's pretty generic, just this is how we roll, kind of. 5, Witch Doctor, the Halloween classic, which was created by the dude who created the Chipmunks, but is not actually a Chipmunks song. But it's also got the high-pitched vocals and stuff.
Okay.
And so I guess they added it in as an homage or something like that.
Gotcha.
Come and Get It, featuring Rebecca Jones.
Mm.
Oh, and Witch Doctor featured Chris Classic.
Oh, great. Thanks for
Come
that
Get
detail.
It is Come Get It the one that... No, Come Get It is no, the one I'm thinking of is later. Come Get It, don't remember anything about it. The Chipmunk song, Christmas Don't Be Late, rock mix. So that one was an edgy, sort of
nice.
guitar-heavy version of it. Funky Town.
Oh, man.
That's, yeah, nothing else needs to be said.
No, not at all.
Get You Going, Coast to Coast, Mess Around. I don't remember any of these.
Yeah. Is that a cover of the Beach Boys?
Mess Around?
Yeah.
No. Because it would say so here.
Oh, okay.
Only You and You Alone.
Ah.
Which, that one's not theirs. That's Buck Ram.
Yeah.
Ain't No Party. I'm assuming...
Ain't no party wild enough.
See, this seems to be an original So, wait, what were you just doing?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Our listeners will comment about it.
Ain't no party. I can only assume like a chipmunk party, but that's not explicit in the name of the song.
What do you think happens in a chipmunk party?
Headaches, migraines,
and acorns.
And acorns. Yeah. Did chipmunks eat acorns? Or is that just squirrels?
Is that just squirrel thing? I don't know. Who cares?
Who knows? If we have a resident rodent expert listening, maybe they can let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
The last on this track list is the one that I really want to have a conversation about.
Okay. Oh,
Taylor.
Man.
And this one...
Oh, man.
This is going to get a little not safe for work.
Not safe for work.
Because it's truly disgusting. And I'm also going to pull up lyrics to this one. The song is called Get Munk'd.
Like a Catholic monk?
No, like Get MUNK''D.
I don't understand.
Well, I'll make it abundantly clear in just a second.
Thank you so much.
But
that's the
can you kind of like maybe... Can you maybe put together what this is implying just based on the name?
Well, I can put that much together, but I'm still confused at like where did they get these other letters to like replace what we're thinking about? Like where does any of that come from? I don't know. I just don't get it.
Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, what are some of those lyrics?
Okay. So there's sort of like a rallying, like, are you ready for this, Alvin? And he's like, yo, what up?
Oh.
That kind of garbage. But then there is girl singer.
Girl, in parentheses.
Yeah, obviously. In parentheses. I'm laying down, help me out, give me some of your honey love. Get me going, step on, can't be wrong, feeling strong, it's what I dream of. Don't stop, no, it's hot now. Say it loud, shout it out, tell me what you want. Anything, boy. Come now, turn me out.
What?
Show me how to get your heart. Let me sing, boy. Hey, can you hear me calling? Yeah, baby, come to me. Yeah, boy, I think I'm falling. I've got you, baby, please.
Should you stop now?
I think if I say any more, we're gonna get arrested and go to podcast jail.
That was horrible.
And so then...
I hope there's a catchy beat to that to disguise that horribleness.
In response to that, one of the chipmunks, I think, replies with, don't you want to get munked?
Ah, that seems wrong.
So,
how is that allowed?
Yeah, this was on a children's...
Yeah. This
so,
was
I mean...
put into... Not was it just like a song was made and it was out on the radio. This was in a movie that
this
kids
is actually
specifically...
This maybe was not in the movie. I do not remember.
Sense.
I think this one was recorded just for the soundtrack.
Oh.
And I guess it is sort of revolutionary in that it is probably the first song that encourages romantic relations between a human woman and a little boy chipmunk.
I have nothing to say to that, except you. That's really gross. Thank you, Mr. Alvin, for those wonderful, wonderful lyrics. Did he write it himself, Mr. Alvin?
Mr. Alvin?
Yeah.
Wait. So, this is interesting, and I'm worried that we may be going too far with our quota, but it's interesting that you afford Alvin from Alvin and the Chipmunks the same respect that you afford Adolf Hitler.
Hey,
you call them
we said
both
we
Mr.
wouldn't talk about
I'm
it
sorry,
again,
we can cut this out.
I mean, I don't want to just, like you said, I don't want to go past our quota, but yeah, I was equating the same respect.
Yeah.
But because, Mr. Alvin obviously creates Grammy Award winning songs and titles and lyrics that he deserves a great deal amount of respect. Speaking of which, the Grammys were tonight.
Yeah. I don't really think we need to talk about that.
We don't.
Cool.
Well,
I think that's been our show for this week, folks.
Yeah. It's been weird, but it's been fun.
Some would say it's been weird fun.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement made.
So this was pretty bonkers and definitely a little longer than our last episode.
One, yeah.
So hopefully everybody will have the patience to get through it. If you're listening to us say this, that means you did it. So congratulations. So you owe me a soda. So that'll just about do it. Taylor, do you have any parting words? Because I think I found my sign out for the rest of the show. That's exciting.
I didn't know. You should have told me to get one before we started.
Well, it was a very organic thing that sort of just happened.
Okay, well, I don't have a specific sign out other than the fact that I'm super happy that people are actually listening to this. The last time I looked, we've got almost 100 listens.
Yeah, which is super great.
First podcast.
And I know that's all based on the goodwill of our friends and family.
Basically.
Because we're not exactly getting randos listening to this quite yet. Maybe someday. So thank you to our loved ones for giving it a listen, because you don't have to. And it's time out of your day that you could be doing something else.
For sure. Missing out on something different. Mm-hmm. But yeah, thanks again, and hope to I guess I can't say hope to see you next week.
Yeah,
I'll see Cooper next week. I'll see Cooper tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see you in a minute once we sign off. Hey everyone. We recorded this episode in February of 2017, and we are speaking to you now in March of 2019 with a bit of an explanation for why the podcast just cut out like that. Back in those days, Taylor was editing the show, and Taylor, why don't you just explain the kind of good joke that you did when you edited that episode?
Well, you see, Cooper, we had this great episode where we talked about a cool song.
Yeah, a really great song by Alvin and the Chipmunks.
And to commemorate the fun memories of talking about that song, and, I just thought since everyone might not know how it goes, I would just add it into the credits.
Yeah, and in those halcyon days of 2017, we had no dreams of things like Apple Podcasts or RSS feeds or anything like that, so we weren't really worried about copyright, especially given the fact that the theme song for our first two episodes was a song by a little band called The Beatles.
Indeed.
So that was not really a consideration we had at the time, but as we're going...
it is now.
Yes, we're going through now, and we're trying to get this all up on Apple Podcasts and all that, so it's easier for all of our fan to listen to the show. And so due to the way it was edited, we kind of had to cut out while we were still talking, so we just kind of wanted to leave this little clip for everybody to explain why. So
thanks for listening to the show.
Yes, thank you so much, and hopefully you'll be moving on right to episode 3.
Listening.
All right. This has been a quick little informational thing from me, Cooper.
And me, Taylor.
And this has been viseNvincent. Shortcut to a good time.